Did you know that by February 1st, over 80% of people have given up on their New Year's resolutions? In this video, we're going to dive into why that is, give you some real life examples to help it make sense, and go over how you can prevent it from happening to you to give your own New Year's resolutions a fighting chance. I might even give you a sneak peek into a couple of my goals in my monthly review video. Let's get into why most people give up on their New Year's resolutions by February 1st. I find that there are four main reasons. Number one, the most obvious issue is the lack of habit formation. On January 1st, people jump right in, excited and driven by the novelty and the energy of New Year's Day, and they just jump right into achievement mode without having taken the time to build the foundation for the habits that it's going to take to achieve this long-term goal. One of my favorite science-related words is neuroplasticity, and neuroplasticity is really important for habit formation. Neuroplasticity is essentially the process that our brains use to create new neural pathways, which our brains make use of to perform habit-driven actions. Think of when you first learned to ride your bike. It was really clumsy. You probably couldn't figure out how to do the pedals and steer the handlebar at the same time. It was really weird. It felt awkward, and you probably fell over a few times. If you're like me, a lot of times. But little by little, every time you fell over or every time you stopped without falling over, your brain got a little bit further on that neural pathway, wiring a neural pathway specifically for riding your bike. And now, as long as you didn't give up, you have a solid neural pathway formed through neuroplasticity for riding a bike. That allows that every single time you get on that bike, it's super easy and natural for you to just start pedaling, steering your handlebar, and not falling. The most important part. So you see, our brain needs repetition in order to make those neural pathways. But getting those reps in can be a little difficult if you've made the task that you're trying to complete each day to achieve your goal too difficult. Then the neural pathways can't form right away. They need time to get to a point where you can ride that bike all the way through. And without a structured routine and the reinforcement of that positive behavior, it's really hard for our brains to stick with those changes that we've promised ourselves over the long term. For example, let's say you set a goal for yourself to declutter your whole house and go to bed every night with a clean house so you can wake up in the morning and your house is just spotless. It's beautiful. That's a wonderful, amazing goal. January 1st, you wake up, you're gung-ho. You are gonna make this happen. You spend all day tearing apart your house, decluttering, ruthlessly throwing away things, donating things. Toward the end of the day, you are completely and utterly exhausted. Your house is a disaster. It looks like a tornado rampaged through. You tell yourself, it's okay. I will just finish it tomorrow, and then I will be living my goal. Tomorrow, you wake up and you see this disaster that yesterday you left you. Where does your motivation go? Down the drain. It's gone. You have no more energy. You can't think of deciding to declutter one more thing. You're done. You say, you know what, maybe I'll declutter next year. And you give up. And yeah, maybe January 1st got you a few boxes to donate and a few bags of trash out of your house. Fantastic. But the long-lasting change that you wanted to take effect is now not going to happen at all because of the fact that you expected your brain to do way too much, way too fast. On the contrary, if on January 1st you make yourself a plan, say you're going to wash all the dishes, that's where you're going to start. It's a very sensible place to start when you're trying to get a disaster of a house under control. Just going to wash all the dishes. Maybe even that's too much for the first day. So say you're going to do a load of dishes. And then tomorrow, when you wake up, you're going to put away those clean dishes and you're going to do another load of dishes. And when those are done, you're going to do yet another. And say on day 3, your plan is to add that little counter next to the sink into your routine. So you're gonna wash all the dishes again, and then you're gonna wipe down that counter. Say on day 4, you also want to actually scrub your sink. The clean sink feeling. It's so nice to wash dishes in a clean sink. So day 4, you clean the counter, you wash the dishes, and you wash your sink. And day 5, you add in the stove. You're going to wipe down the stove surface, you're going to wipe down that counter, you're going to wash all your dishes, and you're going to clean your sink. At the end of each of those days, you get further and further toward your goal of getting your house manageable again. Now, don't assume that you're a horrible person if you can't do that much in 5 days. That's kind of a fast track thing. I'm pretty sure that when I did this, it took me about 3 weeks to get to that point. Not 3 days, not 5 days, 3 weeks, to where I was steadily, pretty much every day, doing almost all of those things at the end of the day. And I was able to then move on to adding my island at the time into that mix, and so on and so forth. I've done a revamp of my house 2 times, and I'm about to start my 3rd, because with 5 kids, it's a process. So I might do a whole video on that and walk through decluttering this house again. That'd be fun. Okay, sorry, got off track. Make a plan, create foundation, build habits. You will succeed. Moving on to number 2, unrealistic goal setting. Okay, here I have to mention one of my favorite authors, Brian Tracy. He's kind of a big name in the goal setting world. He's the author of Goals, Eat That Frog, Change Your Thinking, Change Your Life. He likes to say that there are no unrealistic goals, only unrealistic deadlines, because the deadline is part of setting your goal. It's a really important part. For an example of this, let's say you're 100 pounds overweight and you've decided it's time. I'm going to get my health back for me. I deserve to feel better. I deserve to have more energy. I deserve to be healthy. I'm going to do it for me, and I'm going to lose all 100 pounds this year, starting January 1st. It's going to be a total transformation, and I've never done this before, and I don't have a coach to help me do it safely, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to make it happen. That might be unrealistic goal setting. Okay, now don't get me wrong. It's not unrealistic to lose 100 pounds. It really isn't unrealistic to lose 100 pounds in a year. But to do it with no prior experience and no coach to help you is not only a little unrealistic, it's also quite dangerous. Okay, so to recap, break your huge goals into small sections, okay? Setting a teeny tiny New Year's resolution and only achieving that all year is still better than setting a huge resolution and giving up on it by February 1st. At least you're getting one step closer. Now for problem number 3. It is the lack of accountability. Before I got really into goal setting, I used to do New Year's resolutions just like anyone else who does it. I'd say, or maybe even just think, what I wanted to make happen. And then I'd forget about it because I'm a mom and I have ADHD and other things became important. By February 1st, I was usually not working on it. Really, just without support or any kind of external accountability, there's very little motivation to push through the setbacks that come with achieving anything worth achieving. Studies show that sharing your goal with at least one person who's close to you, that's important, close to you, dramatically improves success rates by providing support, encouragement, structure, and even some extrinsic motivation. Now, it's important for you to remember that sometimes it's actually counterproductive to tell too many people or the wrong person. Chances are you'll find plenty of people who want to tell you why you won't succeed. And no matter what your goal is, if you fill your brain with reasons why you will not succeed, then guess what? You're not going to succeed. because you're going to stop believing that you can. And as soon as you stop believing you can, you can't. Your brain will always trust what you believe to be true. But telling your closest friends, a mentor or a coach, someone who you know has your best intentions at heart and wants to see you succeed just as badly as they want themselves to succeed, that kind of accountability partner is priceless. Extrinsic motivation. It's an important part in goal achievement, which leads me to number 4, which is actually more about intrinsic motivation. Number 4 is not setting meaningful goals. You might know it better as not knowing your why. Intrinsic motivation is really important in goal achievement too. You won't achieve a goal that you don't really care about. Your brain is just going to be like, yeah, we should do this, but why? Why does it matter? I feel like it always seems really obvious, but you would be surprised at how many people make this mistake. Setting a goal that really actually matters to you is so important, because if you don't actually want to achieve the goal, you won't. There's no doubt in my mind that goal will perish, probably faster than any others. And the worst part about that is, thanks to that little word we learned earlier, neuroplasticity, every time you give up on a goal, whether it was a good goal or a bad goal, something you wanted, something you didn't, poorly set, poorly thought out, poorly executed, no matter what the reason, every time you give up on a goal, neuroplasticity makes it easier to give up the next time, therefore making it harder to succeed. Don't set goals that don't matter to you. A good example of this one is a while back, all across YouTube, I saw taken by storm was this minimalism movement. When that movement went through across YouTube, a lot of people wanted to jump on the trend. I even heard about some people getting divorced over it because the wife wanted to just go gung-ho into this, and the husband was like, whoa, 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 you're not throwing away all my stuff. Don't declutter other people's stuff, okay? Young children, yes, I understand that. Don't declutter your husband's closet. Tell him how strongly you feel, and then let him do what he is willing to do. You can't declutter for another person, okay? Don't do that. So they wanted to jump on the trend because it seemed cool, it seemed wonderful, but ultimately it failed because it didn't mean enough to them intrinsically. Living a minimalistic lifestyle takes so much work and dedication that unless you have a true intrinsic motivation to continue with it, you're not going to. Remember, you do have to know your why. The why is the thing that makes the goal important to you. I want to lose X amount of pounds. Why? Well, because I'm tired of being tired. I'm tired of my significant other being worried about my health. I want to see my grandchildren someday. That's a really strong why that I've heard from fitness clients someday. I personally plan on seeing my great grandchildren, maybe even great. Fitness is one of those ways, one of those things that everyone has at least some control over. As long as it matters to you, you can take that control, pair your intrinsic motivation with some accountability, put it with a good deadline, a good amount in a decent deadline, build those habits that can make that happen for you. And doing all of that, I truly believe that you will succeed. You will achieve your goals, and you certainly won't give up on February 1st. Make a plan, create your habits, set a good, realistic deadline, realistic amounts to start with. You can always increase them later. Say you set a goal on January 1st, and it's so tiny you've achieved it by February 1st. Not only did you not give up, you finished it. You go. Good job. Set another goal. What else do you want to do this year? What else? You don't have to set goals on January 1st. Year-long goals don't have to start on New Year's Day. It's just a good new beginning. But guess what? Every first of the month is a great new beginning. Every Monday is a great new beginning. I don't know why everybody hates Mondays. I love Mondays. They are a chance for me to have a fantastic week when maybe last week fell short. And thanks to God's grace, every single day you wake up in the morning is the chance at a new beginning. I hope you got something out of this video. I really do. Please like if you did, subscribe, share, all that stuff. Comment below. Let me know what your New Year's resolution is or was. Are you still working on it or have you given up? Don't give up on your goals. Keep going because you're worth it.